Hi, you guys, it's Al. Welcome to a 20-minute heart and hip opening flow. This is going to be a pretty moderately paced vinyasa flow, so nothing too crazy fast, but we will try to kind of move with the breath in some parts of it and kind of get into a little bit more of a flow with some of the shapes that we're going to be making. So go ahead and meet me in a seated position on your mat, and we'll go ahead and get started. You can be sitting back on your heels like I am, or you can sit cross-legged, any seated position that feels most comfortable for you. As always, we're just going to start with a couple long, deep breaths to settle into this space. So take your hands down to your knees or over your heart and close or lower your eyes. Take a big breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Starting to just let your breath be a little bit longer, a little bit deeper than it may have been throughout the rest of your day. Getting a little bit more depth, a little bit more length. And likewise, as we start to move on the mat, we will find a little bit more depth and a little bit more length. Opening the heart a little bit, stretching out through the hips. Finding some release and some softness in those areas that tend to kind of get very tight and clogged up with unwanted energy. Just take one more moment here to set your intention for our practice before we start moving. Whether that be to just feel better physically, to focus on your breath throughout the next 20 minutes, or whatever feels right for you in this moment. Go ahead and open your eyes if they're closed. Release your hands from wherever they are. And we'll start with a couple gentle heart openers. So go ahead and open your arms out nice and wide. Draw the shoulder blades together. Lift the gaze. Just very gently starting to open up the chest. Open up that whole heart area. And then go ahead and wrap the arms around you, giving yourself a little hug, drawing the shoulder blades away from each other, tucking the chin in towards the chest. And one more time, opening the heart, arching the back a little bit, kind of like we're in a cow pose. And then wrap the arms around one another, maybe opposite arm crosses on top this time. Inching the fingers towards each other along the shoulder blades, tucking the chin. Release the arms. Go ahead and lower the right fingertips down, reach left fingers up to the sky and take a big side bend. Over to the right. Big breath in to reach up high. Exhale to the opposite side. Running up the spine. Inhale through center. Exhale to the right. Inhale through center. And exhale to the left. Inhale, come back through center. And with the exhale, plant the hands down on the mat, and we're going to make our way to a tabletop position. So aligning your shoulders over your wrists, hips over the knees. And we'll take a couple rounds of cat and cow here. So inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze. Exhale, round through the spine, look back to the tops of the thighs. Continuing on the breath, inhale, open the heart, lift the gaze. And exhale to round. Moving at your own pace here, so really just letting your breath be your guide. We're gonna add in a little bit of leg movement with this. So the next time you inhale through center, step the right leg forward to the outside of the right hand. Open the heart a little bit here. And exhale, step that foot back, round through the spine. Inhale, left leg steps forward. Left foot comes to the outside of the left hand. Open the heart a little bit. You start to feel that stretch in the hip. And exhale, step the foot back around through the spine. Let's go ahead and continue with that again on the breath. Inhale, step right foot forward. Exhale, step it back and around. Inhale, left foot forward. Exhale to round. Let's do that one more time on each side. If you're having trouble kind of getting into this pose, you can always take blocks under the hands to give yourself a little bit more space. So if that was the case for you, feel free to pause and give yourself a moment to explore that pose a little bit more. When you're ready, we'll all come to stillness in our tabletop position. Curl the toes under and start to hover the knees off the mat. Shift your hips up and back to downward facing dog. And we'll take a couple breaths here just to settle in. So bend into one knee and then the other, lengthening through the entire spine. So big long line from the palms all the way to the tailbone. With your next breath in, extend the right leg up towards the sky. And bend into that right knee. Start to open up the hip. So the right knee is pointing up towards the sky. Hips are stacking on top of one another. The right heel is also kind of reaching towards the top left corner of the mat. And then square the hips once again and take the right knee in towards your chest. Plant the right foot between the hands and lower your back knee down. So we're in this knee down lunge here. Top of the back foot can come down onto the mat and just shift the weight forward. Opening up the hips a little bit here. And then shift the weight back a little so that front knee comes back over the ankle and start to hover the fingertips off the mat. Come up to stand. First, sweep the arms up. When I said come up to stand, I really meant kind of come up to balance on the foot and the back knee, not all the way up to stand. And then we're going to lower both arms down to our sides, interlace the fingers at the low back, and draw the shoulder blades towards one another, opening up the heart towards the sky. Now, if you can't reach your fingers to each other, that's totally fine. You can either just kind of energetically draw them towards one another, or you can grab something around you that you can use to make a little bit more space in the body here. So, should have pulled this in sooner, but here's an example. Here's my sock that I just took off before I started filming this. You can just grab a sock or a towel or something to create a little extra space there. And we're opening the heart. And then we release. Toss your sock aside if you have one. Sweep the arms back up. And with a breath out, fold forward, frame the front foot. And step the front foot back. So you're in your tabletop again. Curl the toes under, hover the knees, and shift the hips up and back to your downward dog. Take a breath in here. And a breath out. Take a breath in, extend the left leg up towards the sky. Bend into that left knee, opening up the hips, stacking hips on top of one another. The left heel, toe, foot is drawing towards the top right corner of the mat. Really opening up that hip as much as you can here, but trying to keep the arms and shoulders level with one another. So don't totally dump into one side or another to try to get your hip up higher. And then square the hips again. Take the left knee in towards the nose and plant that foot between the hands, runner's lunge. Nothing wrong with taking a couple of steps to get there and find your footing before you lower that back knee and put the top of the back foot down. So we're in our low lunge here once again, and just shift the weight forward a little. So we're kind of opening the heart forward. The knee is coming kind of towards the top of the front toes, or maybe a little bit beyond. And that opening in the left hip. And then shift kind of back to neutral a little bit. So left knee comes more over the left ankle here. And start to hover the fingers off the mat. Coming up to balance on knee and foot. And inhale, sweep the arms up. Go ahead and lower the arms and then interlace the fingers at the low back, or grab your sock, or just reach back. You're trying to maybe hold something between your hands, like press a block together between your hands or something like that. Wherever you are, shoulder blades are drawing towards one another and the heart is opening up towards the sky. One more breath here. And with the exhale, release the fingers or sock or invisible block. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, fold forward. Frame the front foot. And step or slide that front foot back to your tabletop position. Again, we'll curl the toes under, hover the knees, and shift your hips up and back. Bend into the knees, look forward to the hands, and step or maybe hop to the top of the mat. We're going to find a forward fold here. And just find some release. Inhale, halfway lift, crown of the head reaches forward. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep the arms all the way up, reach up to the sky. Exhale, take the hands down by your sides to your mountain pose. Reach behind you, again, interlace fingers at the low back or grab onto whatever you can. And from here, we'll open the heart up towards the sky, draw the shoulder blades together, just like we did when we were down in our lunge. This time, we'll start to shift the weight towards the right foot. And we'll start to draw the left knee in towards the chest. So finding balance here, and you might shift your gaze forward rather than looking up towards the sky, just to preserve your balance a little bit. And we'll start to extend the floating leg behind us as we look down towards the mat, shifting through this warrior 3 shape with the fingers interlaced. And if this isn't working for you, you can just take airplane arms or hands to heart. We'll all land in a high lunge. So with control, lowering that back leg. And once you get here, meet me again with your fingers interlaced or arms just extending behind you. And we'll start to hinge forward into a humble warrior shape. So you can pause anywhere along the way. You could just pause halfway here with the crown reaching forward. If you have the space, you might release all the way down, crown of the head, lowering towards the mat. And you can stay on your back toes here, or that foot can come down like in your warrior 1 feet. Whatever feels more stable for you. Once you arrive and find release in the upper part of your body, the arms might reach up towards the sky, so kind of maintaining that energy even if you're able to kind of release your torso here. We're super strong in the legs right here too. All right, go ahead and hinge back out to stand and release your arms. So we're in a warrior 1 sort of shape here, giving the arms a break because they were just reaching. And turn your toes in so they're both facing towards the long edge of the mat. Inhale, reach the arms up high, and exhale, hands come through heart center, forward fold. Got a wide forward fold here. You can stay right here, or if you want to go into the hips a little bit more, you can start to bend into one knee and then the other. And you can take this to whatever degree you'd like. We'll stay here for a minute or two. So either stationary forward fold, start to bend into one knee and then the other, or come all the way down into a skandasana if you'd like, bending all the way into one knee and extending the opposite toes up towards the sky, maybe hands to heart. And if you're doing that, you're just going to walk back and forth between your feet. So lots of options here, and all options are great for stretching out the hips. So Don't feel like you need to do this because I'm doing it. You can just stay in that wide-legged forward fold and do your thing. If you're bending back and forth, go ahead and even out both sides. And we'll all meet back in a wide-legged forward fold. Start to walk your hands back towards the right foot and pivot the feet back towards the top of the mat. Eventually meeting me back here in a runner's lunge. From your runner's lunge, we'll set the back foot forward. And back to a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, crown of the head reaches forward. And exhale, release to your fold. Inhale, come all the way up to stand, sweep the arms up high. And exhale, lower the hands to your sides. Standing mountain pose. All right, I'm just gonna go to this side of my mat so I'm not facing away from you and sticking my butt in your face when we do this on the other side. So go ahead and interlace your fingers at your low back and open the heart towards the sky, shoulder blades draw together. And this time we'll start to shift the weight into the left foot. Right knee draws in towards the chest. And again, you can gaze out in front of you while you find your balance here rather than looking up towards the ceiling. And we'll start to hinge forward as the floating foot pushes back, moving through a warrior 3 shape. Again, you can take your hands to any variation, airplane arms, hands to heart. Or if you're digging this kind of challenge of opening the heart while we do this, stick with it. We're all gonna meet in a high lunge, so with control, bending into the front knee, lowering the back foot down. And if you've taken any other variation with your arms, meet me back in this position. And we'll start to hinge forward from the hips, coming again into our humble warrior. So you can stop at any point. So if this is enough for you, then stop right here. Or continue to hinge forward and release the head down towards the mat as the hands draw up towards the sky. And once again, you can stay on those back toes or lower the foot down into a warrior 1 shape with the legs. Might feel a little more stable to have that sole of the foot entirely down on the mat. Just notice if you're dumping anywhere. I kind of just noticed I was like resting on my knee here, which kind of lost some of the integrity of my heart opening. So just try to stay strong in your legs, stay strong in your arms. Keep the spine relatively long. And we'll use the strength of our legs to push ourselves back up to stand. Release the arms. Warrior 1 shape. Pause here, both the arms down to give them a break and shake them out if you need to. And then all of our toes turn towards the long edge of the mat once again. So if you didn't switch sides of the mat, you might be facing away from me now or facing the opposite direction on your mat than you were the first time. Big breath in, sweep the arms up, and exhale, forward fold. And once again, take a couple minutes here. So you can either hang out here in your fold, bend into one knee and then the other, or any other variation forward fold that you like. If you want to keep up with the heart opening, you could even find that finger interlacing at the low back again, and then reach your fists up away from the low back, opening up the heart and hips and hamstrings all at once. All right, if you took this little variation with me this time with the fingers interlaced, go ahead and release them. Everyone, meet me back in a forward fold with the hands down on the mat. And we'll start to walk the feet back towards that left foot. returning to a runner's lunge. Go ahead and step the back foot forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, sweep the arms all the way up to the sky. This time, back bend with the arms up. So lift the gaze, fingers reach out behind you, hips reach forward. And exhale, come all the way back through to your forward fold. Plant the hands, step the feet back, lower the knees, swing the legs over to one side, and we'll come down onto a seat. All right, we're gonna take a little variation of pigeon pose here. So if you wanna take a full pigeon, you're welcome to go ahead and do that. I know it's not the most accessible to a large population of people, so I'm gonna try to stay away from that as much as I can when I'm teaching a lot of people, but you're welcome to go into pigeon if you'd like. If you're not ready for a full pigeon, go ahead and extend both legs out long with me and cross the right ankle onto the top of the left thigh here. So if you start to feel a hip stretch just like this with your legs in sort of this figure 4 shape, then just stay right here. And you can maybe just apply a little bit of pressure onto the inside of that right leg to open up the hip a little bit more. If you want to take this a little bit deeper, you can place the hands down on the mat and start to bend into that extended leg. You're drawing the right ankle closer in towards the chest to get a little deeper into the hip here. And we can continue to open the heart here by drawing the shoulder blades together. And I think that kind of simultaneously opens up the heart and kind of deepens this hip stretch, right? Take a couple breaths here. And we'll switch sides. So if you bent into that knee, go ahead and extend it out long again. Extend both legs out long. And this time the left ankle comes onto the top of the right thigh. Again, you can either stay right here if this is enough of a stretch for you. Maybe just press a little bit to open up the hip a little bit more. Or start to slide that extended leg in towards your chest. And you might notice this side feels a little different than the other. This hip is a little bit tighter than the other one on me for some reason. So I'm going to ease out of it a little by just sliding that foot forward a little bit. And again, you can draw the shoulder blades together to open the heart here. Killing 2 birds with 1 stone with this pose here. And we'll come out of this the same way we came into it. So again, if you bent into that right leg, go ahead and slide it back out, unhook the legs, and just shake them out a little. And we're gonna lower all the way down onto the back. And we'll just take a couple breaths here. If you want to take any other poses, feel free. Kind of running out of time, but a happy baby might be a nice little addition to this practice. Or just hanging out in pigeon for a lot longer. It's never a bad thing. So take any other poses that call to you. Feel free to pause the video, and then when you're ready, you can meet me here for a few final breaths. Just noticing how your body feels after the movement that we found on our mat today. If you were able to find some more softness, find a little release in those areas. And how that feels for you. And take your time coming back up to a seat. And like always, since this is a video, you can always pause if you need a little bit longer in Shavasana. And press play when you're ready. We'll all come back up to a seated position to say our farewells for the day. Thank you very much for spending this time on the mat with me today. Your heart and your hips are two areas where we store a lot of emotion, right? So obviously your heart is the root of all of your emotion, of all of your love, of all of your feelings is right here at the core of your being. So that is just somewhere where if there's a lot of tension, a lot of stress, you might just feel really clogged. You might feel like emotionally blocked if there's just a lot going on here and you haven't had a chance to release it. Same thing with your hips. This is kind of a very sensitive area of the body, very like sensual. And so that's just another area where we tend to store stress, especially if you're somebody that spends a lot of time sitting. Even if you just sit at a desk all day, just everything that you kind of process as you're sitting at your desk might get stuck in your muscles here. So these are just really important areas to make sure you're kind of like rinsing out once in a while. So just kind of doing some stretches to really focus on releasing in those areas. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel and leave me a comment letting me know how this practice made you feel. Let me know what other videos you want to see in the future, the length, the body parts that you want to stretch, the poses that you want to try. And I am going to try to make as many quick, fun yoga videos as possible for you guys. So thanks again, and I will see you again soon.